Hello, beautiful family. Welcome back to my channel. This is Funmibi here again with another video. Shout out to you guys. I have to start this video this way. Shout out to you guys for making us hit 5K subscribers on here. Woot woot. Thank you guys so much for joining the family. To the new people on here, welcome to the fold. It's so nice to have you on here. In today's video, we'll be making this beautiful scrunchy headband, and I know I have something like this on my channel already, but the reason why I'm making this video is to show you guys a new way in which I make scrunchy headbands, as well as how I attach elastic bands to my headbands, because you guys have gotten a lot of requests to show how to attach elastic to plastic headbands. So in today's video, I'm going to be fulfilling that request, showing you guys how I make scrunchy headbands now, as well as how to attach elastic to any type of headband that you're making. So if you'll be interested in knowing all of this, please make sure you stick to the end of this video. Give this video a big fat thumbs up, okay, and subscribe if you're yet to, and just let's engage on this post. All right guys, let's get straight into today's video. Let's go. Okay friends, so as usual, I'll start off by showing you what you need. You need your plastic headband, of course. You need the fabric of choice. For me, I'm using this my African print Ankara fabric. You also need your scissors for cutting your fabric. You also need a thread snipper for cutting straight threads and all of that while making this particular headband. All right guys, what I have here is a long piece of fabric that is about 45 inches long by 3 inches. Okay, I'm going to be using that piece of fabric to wrap my headband, and I will show you guys how I'm going about that. This is just a small piece of fabric that is going to help me create that scrunched up effect on my fabric, and this is the main fabric that's going to be making, forming the scrunchy part of this headband, and this is about 45 inches by 10 inches. All right guys, so the next stage we are going to be moving on to is creating. Okay, and the first thing we are going to be doing is wrapping our plastic headband. This is my new favorite way of wrapping my plastic headbands. Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing all the things that I don't necessarily get into details with when making my videos on other types of designs, especially my bespoke designs. Okay, those other gegen types of design. In this video I'll be showing you how I wrap headband, how I attach elastic, and other little tips here and there that can help you when making your own headband design at home. All right guys, so what I'm doing here is just applying some glue, and for this particular system you don't need so much glue, right? You just need glue at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the plastic headband. Okay, and I'm going to be showing you how I just applied some glue, and now I'm just rolling my fabric all around, and in between I could have decided not to add glue anymore until I get to the extreme end, the other end of my plastic headband, but in between I still applied a bit of glue just to allow my fabric stay put. And I found that other system where you apply a lot of glue to wrap your headband, that way sewing on top of your headband becomes a bit difficult, because your glue is already making the whole thing feel very hard, and passing your needle and thread through might be a bit stressful. But this way, because you're not using so much glue, it's almost like you're it's not even almost like you are sewing fabric on each other, so it's easy to do hand sewing with this particular method. So yeah guys, I just felt like showing you this new method that I use for wrapping my headbands, just to let you guys in and know what I'm doing now, the changes I've made in my process, okay, with making headbands. All right guys, so that's it for wrapping my headband. Now it's time to work on the main scrunchie, and for this one I applied some stone. Okay, you guys know that I love my blings. Okay, I couldn't help myself, I had to press on some stones on my fabric. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is folding this fabric into two along the length. Is about 10 inches wide, like I said earlier. Now I'm folding it into two, and then now I'm just going to sew on half of an inch. I'm going to run that stitch from one end of the fabric to the other end, and just sew all the way through, and then I'll come back to our work table once that is done. Alright guys, so now that I'm done sewing my fabric all the way through, it's time for us to turn it inside out, and I'm going to be using this my long screwdriver just to turn my fabric inside out. Feel free to use whatever tool you have that will help you turn your fabric inside out easily, but for me, I find that screwdrivers, they do it for me really easily. Okay, yeah, so I'm still here struggling with my fabric. Once that is done, it will be time for me to pass down my little piece of fabric, which was about 20 inches by about 3 inches. I'm going to pass it in between this my long strip of fabric. Okay, and that is what is going to give us that scrunched up effect that we had, that you saw at the beginning of the video when I showed you, the finished result of this scrunchy headband. So that's what I'm doing here using my safety pin. I put you guys know how this goes. If you don't know how it goes, I'm going to link a video on the screen that will show you, in more details how that process goes. But yeah, I believe a lot of us know how this works already. So I have my safety pin in between the fabric, and that is what I'm using to pull that my little strip of fabric all the way to the end of the fabric, so that it gives us that main scrunchy results that we are going for. So now that I'm done passing it all the way through, I'm just placing my scrunchy headband on top of the plastic, just to kind of give me an idea of whether I want to scrunch it up more or I want to stop already. So once I was done, determining that point, I decided to tuck the ends of my scrunched up fabric, tuck it in, and also cut up the excess fabric, because chances are the fabric that you passed in between your scrunchy headband is going to be too long. So you need to cut off the excess, and then also tuck in the end of the excess, and then just sew it together. So once I was done tucking in, I folded the two ends, right, and then now sew. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go and sew what I already secured inside my scrunchy situation. Okay, so now the next thing to do now is to attach our scrunched up fabric onto our plastic headband. And for this portion as well, I'll be using a bit of glue, just gluing the two ends of this scrunchy situation that we have going on. I'll glue it on, and then the next thing I'll do is also to sew down my fabric. You guys know that in this my channel, okay, I always talk about how you need to make sure that your pieces are secure, just to avoid wardrobe disasters whenever you rock any of your pieces, right? So after using glue, I still advise that you go ahead to do a bit of hand stitching to secure your work, basically. So that's what I'm doing here. After applying glue, I decided to also use my needle and thread to sew down the fabric. Make sure that even if the glue fails, my needle and thread is there as a plan B to back up whatever work that I've done. I'm going to repeat that same process on the other end of my plastic headband. Apply some glue, fold the edge of the fabric together, and kind of sew it together to give me this. And this is what we have here. This is the final result. You could stop here if you want, but for me, I found that without attaching elastic to my headbands, a lot of time it moves around and it's so annoying. Sometimes it might even fall off your head when you are moving around a lot. But with this elastic, trust me, your headband is not going anywhere. It's going to stay put. And for this portion, you need to attach, wrap up the edge of your plastic headband. After wrapping and all of that, you need something to just cover the ends. And for me, I always use this elastic, I always use this velvet ribbon or just plain ribbon, or sometimes I even use elastic. Actually, I use a matching color of elastic at the ends of my my design. But for this particular video, I'm using this velvet ribbon, and then I'm applying that onto the ends of my plastic headband, the design I've done basically. And with applying your elastic, you could decide to sew the elastic onto this velvet ribbon situation that you have going here. But because when I was applying the velvet ribbon, I didn't move it down enough to create room for me to sew, because now I just applied it onto the plastic headband, and sewing won't it won't have been possible. So that was why I decided to kind of manage the situation, right, and then move my elastic upwards. This is what I'm talking about. You could sew your elastic onto the end of your design this way, right? Sew it onto that velvet ribbon or whatever you put there. Even if it's elastic, you can sew it on top of each other. But because my velvet ribbon is directly on the plastic part of this my headband, sewing would have been impossible, right? I don't even know what I was doing, but not to worry, okay, we can still manage the situation. So what I did was basically cut a longer strip of elastic and then move it upwards and sew it onto the fabric. Okay, so that scrunched up effect that I folded inwards earlier on, I'm now sewing this my little piece of elastic onto that part of my headband to give me the security that I need. Okay, with sewing your elastic, feel free to just make it look nice. Okay, don't feel free and then do something that won't look nice, but sew it onto the plastic headband in any way that it will look nice. The point is you want to attach an elastic to your headband, so the ideal way is for the elastic to be sitting on a piece of fabric. Okay, whatever fabric you wrapped your headband with, that is what you are sewing your elastic onto. I hope you guys understand me. Okay, so for this particular video, I'm sewing it onto that my scrunchy part of my headband, and that's what I'm doing here. I tried my best to move my camera around just to allow you guys see really clearly. If you are sewing it on fabric, sewing is easy peasy, okay, but like I always say, whenever I'm sewing, I'm passing my needle and thread through fabrics, okay? I'm not passing it through the plastic of my plastic headband. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I feel like I'm over shalaye, okay? So I'm going to slow down here, allow you guys watch what I'm doing, and once I'm done with this portion of the video, I'll be back to wrap up the video for you guys. Okay friends, so after I did that first part of the headband, I moved on to the second end to attach, the elastic to the other side, and it's also the same process. I'm sewing on the fabric aspect or the fabric part of this headband, okay? I can't sew on plastic, so I have to just look for where there's enough fabric and then sew it in a very secured manner. And once I was done sewing, I cut off the thread, okay, after sewing securely. And what I advise you do is pull on the elastic to be sure that it's sitting firmly, okay? After sewing, try and pull on it and see if it doesn't snap, okay? If it doesn't snap, that means you've done a good job and you can stop there. So once I was done doing all that, confirming and checking, I went ahead to cut off the excess thread, and then this is me securing what I sewed onto my headband. And yeah guys, that's pretty much it. For the end of the video, I'm going to now go ahead to show you guys the finished results. This is what my headband looks like with the elastic on, and when I wear it, okay, it's going to sit firmly on my head. Even if I move around, jump around, sit down, go up, it's not going to fall off my head, it's not going to move, right? That's the beauty of adding elastic to your work. I have been battling conjunctivitis for like a week now. My eyes are back on track now, but I was just too tired. I'm still very iffish about doing makeup or anything like that, so that's why you guys are seeing my mannequin head today, okay? I'll be back to showing my face hopefully by next week, by the next video. And the next video that is going up on the channel is something that has been highly requested too, okay? I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this beautiful headband that you guys have asked for, okay? I'm going to be recreating a couple of my designs using satin, because a lot of you guys, especially those outside Nigeria, always complain about the price of ASOOKE in your location and all of that. So the next video is going to be something very exciting, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Subscribe if you're yet to. Like this video, okay? Liking is very important. And yeah guys, I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.